Trailhead, computer network,
Madam, we will start, madam.
We will start, sir.
Good afternoon, participants. Welcome to the last day of the 6 days FDP program conducted by R.M.D Engineering College IT department. Today we have eminent person in cloud computing. She is Dr.S.Thanga Ramya, Associate Professor from R.M.D Engineering College IT department. She has over 18 years of experience in teaching. She is BE Computer Science, MS by Research, and completed PhD doctorate degree in Anna University. She is presently guiding about 5 research scholars from Anna University, and real specialization of her is she is a Wipro certified faculty and a Salesforce certified faculty from our college. So she is going to live session on impact of Salesforce in cloud community today. Thank you, madam. Thank you for coming to this session. We hope all the participants will enjoy this session and get benefited. You can take over the session, madam.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, and all present here. It's my pleasure in being a part of this FDP in doing knowledge sharing. Today's session is about the impact of Salesforce in cloud community. The Salesforce is a leading legend in cloud community. The Salesforce is actually a CRM, customer relationship management software, which is provided as a software as a service in cloud. We have a lot of CRMs like Apple, Zoho. Then why this CRM specifically I meant? It is a leading legend. That is what today's session is about. So today's session, I just fixed like the Salesforce. Why Salesforce? What are the credentials of Salesforce? How it is lead in cloud among the multiple CRMs, and a small demo on developing an app using the Salesforce CRM. The CRM, customer relationship management, I talked about. It is the one which creates a bond between the customer and a company. A small sample for a CRM is an Airtel users, they used to get the recharge message before their expiry period, the card expiry period, they used to get a message. This is not being sent by the person who is working in Airtel. This is being sent by the software, the CRM, customer relationship management software, which is used by the Airtel. The same is applicable for ICICI or whatever the companies and banks. So the CRM in specific, I can say it maintains the customer details. And the CRM, it satisfies the customer needs based on the requirement of the customer. The software provides the specific needs. And simply, I can say it acts as an employee of an organization. As I said, this is one which is requesting to the customers, responding to the customers in terms of managing the entire organization or a company. Fine. How the CRM has been maintained in earlier, because the Salesforce has been introduced in the year of 2005. By the case, every company owns its own CRM, customer relationship management software. Usually they used to build that through some of the applications like Java or C# or whatever. They develop it and they used to maintain it in their own server. In fact, we used to say it as an on-premise server. They used to maintain their CRM in on-premise server. It cost about millions and billions of dollars. So to change this scenario, the Salesforce comes into a picture, where the Salesforce entire software is delivered in terms of online as a service. None of the server need to be maintained by the company. Everything the Salesforce takes care. So in the beginning slide, I just mentioned very clearly, the Salesforce is it's like a software as a service. So before getting into the intro part of the Salesforce, let's have a small recap on cloud computing. The cloud computing provides a way to store, access, and maintain the user's data in the cloud. Okay, it is used to store, access, and maintain the data in the cloud. So to do this task, it uses three major services it uses. The first one is infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. These terminologies you could have come across in many aspects. Before seeing the technical insight of these three services, we'll have a small sample which describes what is this infrastructure service as a service and platform as well as software as a service. And a small sample about the cloud services. The first one is you have your own car. You're owning your own car. This is like you have an on-premise or your own server. By the case, the car is yours and you are the deciding authority where the car has to go. Same way, here the infrastructure, I'll just take the same part as our CRM applications. Here the server is yours and you can do whatever with your service. That's you are the entire responsible person to take care of your infrastructure. Coming to the point of leased car, where you are going to hire the car. You're going to take the car for lease, where the infrastructure you have got it. And now you are a person who's going to run a car and you have to decide where you have to go. So the infrastructure you took it for lease and the applications, whatever you want to access, you are going to decide. That is a second category. Usually the IT industries or administrators will opt this infrastructure as a service. When we move to the next one, the platform as a service. The platform as a service, you are going to hire a taxi. When you hire a taxi, there will be a driver. You have to inform him where you plan to go. So the point is, here you're going to have an infrastructure, but the point, you can access only the specific platforms. Unlike your in the leased car or infrastructure as a service, you can use whatever the application, what you need it. Wherever that is not a case in platform as a service. Here you can access only the specific platform. Coming to our important scenario, that's your software as a service, where our Salesforce CRM is a part of it. This is an example for a software as a services bus, where the bus will have distinct routes, defined routes. Whomever the customers or passengers, those who want to travel for a specific route can get into the bus. Same way, this is a service which is going to provide a specific amount of applications. Whatever the applications which is needed by the customers, they can make use of it. The cloud users, whatever the applications they need, they can hire that alone. That is your software as a service. Fine. This is a general pick about your services. Let's see the small in-depth of your IaaS, infrastructure as a service, in which we'll see what are all the things which will be managed by the users of IaaS and which will be managed by cloud vendors. Here the users, as I said, in the infrastructure as a service, the example I meant it as a leased car, where the applications you are deciding and what are all the management or development tool which helps you to define an application that also the user is going to manage and the operating system is also yours. And these three are the services, the servers, networking resources, and data centers. And all the three usually being managed by the cloud vendors as common. Let's see the platform as a service. In the platform as a service, as I mentioned, only the specific applications the user can manage. The rest, the development and management tool, operating system, everything are the part of the vendor. When you come to the law service, software as a service, and wonderful case that the user doesn't do anything. If he is having internet connection, fine. He is going to access all the applications which is available in the net, where suppose you are accessing a program, the compilation, everything will be done in net. That is what it is being managed by the cloud vendors. And this is one which gives you a clarity that Each services, the sample for all the services. Infrastructure as a service, the main sample for this one is AWS EC2. It is Elastic Compute Cloud. Microsoft Azure, Google Compute Engine, all other people, those are providing this IaaS. Platform as a service, Heroku, Google App Engine, and AWS Elastic Beanstalk. Software as a service, I can say Salesforce first, Gmail, Trello, even our Facebook, everything, because the service is there in the net, and we people are, I mean, we are the sophisticated users, just we are getting into an internet and we are accessing all the facilities which are available, because we are no way going to store the data of your Gmail. It is being done by the software as a service. Everything is being done. We are just opening, seeing and packing. That's it. And now the side one just gets you an idea whom are all the users who can access these services. IaaS, IT administrators, platform as a service, developers, every time they don't need to install the specific software whichever is needed by them for their application development. So better they can go for IaaS and they can opt the particular platform, they can work on it and they can develop their applications. Finally, the software as a service, as I mentioned earlier, the sophisticated users among us, we people will go for software as a service, because everyone are using this software as a service through your Gmail or Facebook or Twitter or whatever. So, yes, the introduction about the Salesforce CRM. The Salesforce, as I mentioned already, it is the one which is used by the topmost legends. The Twitter, Google, Facebook, all are accessing this Salesforce. Fine. The Salesforce is a CRM which is provided as the software as a service I mentioned. The CRM, initially how the people have developed is, they use the fixed softwares like Java or other languages. Through that they used to develop. For that what they need is, they need people to develop, they need a software to develop the application. Where in Salesforce, the same is a formula, but number of people needed to develop the software is reduced, and you don't need to install any specific software for the development of a CRM or an app. I can explain that through one small pic. Why Salesforce? Why specifically Salesforce? See here, it is an, once you have got an idea, this is 6 to 12 month scenarios about developing an app which is meant for CRM. So once the idea is found, we have to set the corresponding hardware for that and install the software, and we have to fix who are all going to access your software, and you have to decide what all the reports your software is going to produce, and you have to build the corresponding security for the software which is developed by your own, and you have to make it as mobile as well as social, and you have to build the app. This entire scenario takes minimum of 6 to 12 months. When you come to the Salesforce, if you have an idea, kindly approach the Salesforce. The Salesforce will do everything and it will give you the app in the form of two categories. There are two things. The Agile, if you go with, once you develop an app, you have to develop the app for two scenarios. One is for a desktop, another one is for your mobile. Whereas when you go for Salesforce, whatever the app you develop with the tools available in a Salesforce, the app will be common to both the desktop as well as for the mobile. And how the Salesforce does this, that is the point. To create an app, the Salesforce has built-in objects, which is needed for developing the CRM software. So with the help of these objects, or suppose if you feel that if the user of the Salesforce is feeling that these built-in objects are not sufficient for their app development, by the case, they can construct their own objects called the custom objects, and they can integrate all put together, they can form an app. And still, I can say that there are three specific things to talk about the Salesforce. It is easy, it is fast, it is effective. These three are the first three main things I have to focus. Easy in the sense you are not going to write a huge coding. You're not going to write a huge coding because the objects are already built in. Some of the object sample what I can pass for the basic need of CRM, sales, accounts, contacts, leads, kind of case, files. These are all the basic built-in objects which is needed by the by the company for the development of a CRM. So everything is already built in and you are going to do small alteration with that. The objects, what I'm meaning is, for the computer science people, it is exactly equivalent to the tables what we use in RDBMS environment. So because everything is built in, it is very easy. Obviously, the same is the reason for it is fast. And it is very much effective. Yes, very much effective in the sense I just meant about the apps which are developed by the Salesforce. It is not only applicable for your desktop. It is common to both desktop as well as for the mobile and the customer access. Salesforce, whomever the customers they access, like they don't need to be in a specific place to access. Wherever they are, they can access. Suppose there are 3-4 people together, they plan to develop an app in Salesforce. By the case, they don't need to be in a single place to develop their apps. Wherever the place they are, by sharing their ideas, they can work on the same project. And from the beginning, I'm just this is the one which created a great impact in cloud community. Even Apple CRM is there, then how the Salesforce has come into a picture? That is because of its main nature called an integration. Need not necessary that you have to use only the objects which are available in Salesforce. Instead, we have our own accounting software. Even that can be integrated by the Salesforce CRM just like that. That's what. You can pass a mail. Same way, you can use the existing accounting software, whatever you use, that the same thing you can integrate with the Salesforce CRM and you can work with. This is the main facility which differentiates the Salesforce with other CRMs. So based on that, what we have got is the startups. Startups and small business means in the scenario 2018-19, 840 plus startup companies have been started only based on the apps they have developed through this Salesforce. And India is the top 6 place by the time because of this Salesforce. That is the reason even the topmost companies like Infosys and other companies, they started shifting their CRM, which has been developed by Java, to the Salesforce. Salesforce. It is about replacing the lengthy installation process and moving everything to an internet. You don't need to go for installation and everything. Just you are moving everything to an internet. And suppose the Salesforce app which is developed and which are used by the customers, if they are facing some problem, usually the problem will be rectified by the CRM software immediately. Also, one more specific advantage is this Salesforce software will specify the reason for the error too. None of the softwares will specify a kind of case. It specifies for what reason the error has been caused. That also will be intimated to the customer. That is one of the things which causes its effectiveness. And you don't need to go for licensing deals and all. To access Salesforce, you need to pay $50 monthly as subscription fee. Even the small demo of mine is about the 30 days free trial. Through that, we can create an app. For launching, obviously, we have to pay, but still, we can just see how to create a small app in Salesforce. Proof for the title of the session is 6 points. 150,000 customers across the world we have Salesforce, and 3 million installations of the apps developed by the Salesforce have been done so far. And Salesforce App Exchange is a feature which has been introduced in the year of 2012, and it is being used by 2,700 applications, which just provides an integration feature, as I mentioned, in why Salesforce slide. And I'll just touch the 5th point first. This is the Salesforce dominates with a 19.7% of market share. Probably you could have heard about the SAP, which is the one whomever learned SAP is going up, but the SAP, even it is behind it, it is 12.1% only. The Oracle and Microsoft, it is not even in the line. The Oracle is about 9.1% market share and Microsoft is about 6.2% market share. And 70% of the customers, Salesforce customers, uses the applications that are listed in the app exchange of the Salesforce. And these are all the main scenarios which decides the Salesforce to be in leading position. A simple example for which just depicts why Salesforce is the Salesforce partners of India. In India, the TCS, CTS, Infosys, Capgemini, IBM, Accenture, Wipro, all are the part of, even Deloitte are the part of Salesforce partners in India. Everyone started moving towards Salesforce. And a small demo before this COVID, we just created this Salesforce economy, which specifies the new jobs created by 2022 is about 3.3 million jobs in Salesforce. It is not a small one, 3.3 million jobs, where even you can Google it, the Salesforce architect is a highly paid employee. If you know, if you complete your Salesforce certification, you are in the lead. And here, the other economic impact, if you see, this one says the business revenues, and this one says how many new jobs are being created through the Salesforce. You could have seen this is what an expected number of jobs created in Salesforce as of now. And the credentials. So I'm talking beginning like Salesforce will help you to develop your own apps. That's what the conclusion. What we have seen so far is Salesforce helps you develop your own apps. What are all the other pathways? What do you have? Only integrating objects and creating apps is available. No, it is not a case. It gives a pathway to the developers also. You see, the platform developers, we the software engineers, even we can develop our own programs. It is, it supports two languages called Apex and Visual Force. Apex is like a Java kind of language, and Visual Force is like it is equivalent to your in servlet. I can say it is a servlet. Almost the syntax and everything, it resembles each other. Through that, even programmers can also do their best in Salesforce. And administrators, app builders, and I was a part of this administrator in developing a small app. And if you plan to get in certification says the one which carries a great role in Salesforce is about Salesforce administrator and platform developer. To attain these two things, the courses we need to undergo is the administrator essential for new admins. You have to complete this course. And also for getting this certified platform developer, you have to be thorough in Apex and Visual Force. And as I said, now let's just get into how to do a small app in Salesforce. Yeah. So when you go to browser, you please type your www.salesforce.com. If you type it .salesforce.com, if you type it, just see to the home page of the Salesforce, where it shows you this is what your screen of yours, where this is the option here. You have the home screen of yours. It just shows what are all the products, what are the solutions of Salesforce. In fact, Salesforce is a CRM. I said this is running by the company called Salesforce.com. It's a US based company. This is a separate company, Salesforce.com. If you are a new user, you go to try for free, where I have already logged in with me. I'm getting into the login of Salesforce. This is about 30 days free trial I have gone in. The same way you can also create your login and you can go with. I'm going with the login here. To get to a login, you will get a screen view. There are two views the Salesforce support you to develop your app. One is a classic view, another one is a lightning view. So the classic view is the one which is being used by the Salesforce customers in the beginning stages development of Salesforce. Later on in the year of 2013, 12, 13 only they introduced uh, lightning experience. But lightning experience is like something comfortable when you're working with the interesting front end, whereas classic is like a very basic model of us. Probably my net connection is a bit slow, so it's going slow. Yeah, I've gotten. So this is my screen, and this is actually called a Salesforce Classic View. Classic view. If you want to go to Lightning, there are two views we have in Salesforce. This is what the basics sales front screen of yours. If you want to go to the Lightning experience, if you click it, it just takes you to the Lightning experience, where I just talked about the built-in objects. Salesforce supports a collection of objects, I say. All those objects you can see. These are some of the objects we have: accounts, contacts, leads. And this is my own object, custom object I created. Okay. So now it's still rotating to show the lightning view. Fine. This is your Salesforce light view. So far the full page is not yet loaded. Anyway, I'll let you know. These are all the built-in objects. The main objects what I focused is the leads, sales, accounts, contacts. All the objects are available. You can make use of either few of the objects available here, and if you plan to add your own objects, you can add it. Now, what I plan to do is that I plan to create my own app. My own app, a small app I plan to create. So for that, for the beginners, always, as I said, we have to go with the light instead of lightning view. Lightning view is so much comfortable. You could have seen that if you click it, automatically your app will be created and you won't see the functionalities of all. So I'll just go with this one. If you click this corner, switch to Salesforce Classic is an option you have. Just move to Salesforce Classic. The first screen, what I've shown you, in which I'll create a small app. It's still rotating. So once you go to the classic, first we have to create our apps. For the app creation, you need to mark up a lot of programming points and all. Just if you type, this is the search box we used to see. In the search box, if you simply type apps, it will take you to the apps. There you have to type the name of your app which you plan to create. So once you type the name of the app, automatically just ask you what are all the objects you plan to combine in that app. So once you specify those objects, your app is ready for launching. And additionally, you can set the profiles and you can fix for all the users who can access your software, and everything you can do based on that. Yes. Still it is in moving part. So I'll just give you a few more points. Suppose you want to work with the Salesforce and you want to know about the objects, fields, and everything. There is another platform called trailhead.salesforce.com. I'll just show to the end. Trailhead.salesforce.com is a one which actually helps the users to learn more about the Salesforce. So still it is rotating. So fine, I'll just show it here. If you simply type your app and you press your, it's coming. Now, I first to create your app, the step one is you have to click your setup. Once you click your setup, it just takes you to this screen where you please type your app. Zoom the screen so that it will be easy for you to understand. So I'm typing app. Once you type app, automatically create apps. It is available. You click it. Such an easiest one to develop your apps. You don't need to know languages for this or any fixed languages for the development. And here it shows for the app development, it just asks you to specify the new. If you click new, it's asking you, it's a customer app. Yes, yes, custom app. Yes, I want to create custom app. And if you go to the next level, there are 5 steps for the creation of app. So for the FDP, I'm creating an app. So I'll just mention it as FDP. And automatically app name will be listed. The description is FTP purpose I'm creating. You could have seen there is no red line. That means that this is not a mandatory field. By the case, you can leave it also as such. And next, if you do it, you can insert the image for your app and all, you can do it. I'm just keeping it because that is not a mandatory thing. By default, the same pic will come for my app too. So I'm just going to the next step of mine. The next step, here is the role of mine. You see, it's very clearly when you create an app, all the built-in objects will be listed for you. These are the built-in objects which are listed for you, a lot of built-in objects. And now, and the objects will be available in the form of tabs. So what I do is that for the comfortable zone, I just choose 3 objects here. One is account, you please add it. And I'll just go to the next one called account contacts. I go with contacts. Fine. Now the next one is I go with okay. Next one I go with the leads. These 3 are the major need for leads is here. So leads. So these 3 objects let me make use. And next, I said for the normal app development, you have to specify the users who can access, who should not access. Where in the Salesforce, the step 5 is they will list you the user access. They'll specify who are all the users who can access your app. Yeah, this is what the last step of yours. It just asks you, your app is visible to whom? By default, it is asking users we have in Salesforce, like authenticated websites. It's just asking you overall analytic integration users, customer community plus users, lot they mentioned. But instead of going with all, I'll just take only the standard users and administrator. If you want, you can make it for all. So it consumes the time of us. So I'm going to the next level. So I just saved it. It is under processing here. And once it is saved, you can see your app here. So the app name of mine is actually FDP. Yeah, it is created. If you click it, if you click your FDP, this is my app, what I've created. Here we have 3 major objects: accounts, contacts, and leads. As I mentioned already, these are all the objects. It is equivalent to tables in our RDBMS. Suppose this is an object, this is an app I created and it is going to be supplied to the customers. By the case, how do they enter values for this accounts, contacts, and leads is just if they click this one, just if they click this accounts, this is an app which will be in the form of mobile format, it will be supplied. And if you click the tab which is displayed here, accounts tab, immediately you will get a screen like that. Immediately you'll get a screen like that, where if you click new, it is asking you to enter the new account details. You see, these are all the, actually our account is a table or an object for which these are all the fields. You have not created anything which is already created by the Salesforce. You are just accessing the created object. Whereas we mentioned already, the red line alone makes it as a compulsory one. So the account name, I'm just going with Ramya here, and the location is Chennai, and I am not entering the remaining fields here, and I'm just going to the save. Likewise, if you want to create whatever the number of accounts needed for your software, needed for your CRM, you can go with. And once you've completed, you please check for the remaining contacts and all you can go with. And here, if you click the accounts, showing me that I have been created here. The account name which is created are with the existing accounts. Recently, I created this brand. It is showing like that. Now, so far what I have conveyed you is how to combine the existing objects to create your app. How to create a custom app, that also we need to know. Suppose I feel that these three objects are not sufficient for my app. By the case, you have to develop your own object. So I'm going for the same. So for every category, you have to make use of, for the any creation, you have to use this setup tab. I'm clicking this setup, and quick find is simply your object, because to create your object. So there is a create object is available, create. So as a whole, what we know is Salesforce helps you to combine the existing objects plus the custom objects which you're going to develop. So I'm just meaning it new custom object. Some meaningful object they create. So FDP is my app, to which I'm just about, the label is about participant details. I'll just go with participant. Okay, the participant I'll go with. The plural label it is asking you. So participants. Okay, participants. The detailed description is not mandatory, but still the participant details. Use the participants details. Now it's asking you the data type is what? It is text. It is text, and I'm just going for save. So it is saving your custom object what you have created, but you could have seen that what the object you have created is not been added in the tab. But I want the same has to be added in a tab. It has to be added in a tab. Then only I can enter the values for the corresponding custom object. Because just now I added a data value for this accounts object. Same way, if you plan to add a data to the custom object what you have created, again go to this setup here and just click your tab. I'm going to create my own tab. So create tabs. If you click it, you know, if you click it, it just takes you here. New tab. Yes, I plan to create a new tab. The new tab is meant for my participant details. So the object name it is asking, the object name is participant, because obviously this is a one which shows what are all the recent objects, custom objects which are created. You can fix any style for your tabs. I'm just going with the, it's like building blocks. I'm just going with the building block, and there is no specific link and all. So I'm just going to the next. So apply the tab visibility to all profiles. It's asking. So let it be to the all the profiles. Next. So now the second step, what we are doing is, first we just, during the step one, I just assemble all the built-in objects, accounts, contacts, leads under the app called FDP. Now I'm creating my own object, and an object is created called a participant, but that is not in display in the tab. So I have to make it to be in display. So I'm creating a new tab. The tab is connected with this. Yes, now you could have seen the participants tab has come here. But once you click the participants, you could have observed that I've created only the objects. I have not created any fields for the objects. Yes. If you see it, if you simply click new, you see only the participant name is there. That is not sufficient for me. I feel that the participant phone number and lot of data about the participant has to be enrolled. By the case, better you cancel it, you don't save any data. You could observe that for whatever the activity I'm doing, because the processing is not being done in my system, it is done in the cloud. So now what I have to do is I have to create the new fields for the object called participant. For a comfortable zone, I'll create only one field now. It's enough. Like I'll go with the fields here. So if you type fields, okay, if you click this fields, yes, here it comes down. So go to the setup of FDP where you type the field. Or for specifically participants, you can choose this fields. So once you go to the fields, yes. So it's for the specific objects you choose. I'm searching for my participants. It takes time to load the scene. So we'll do one thing, like with that only one field, let us proceed with adding the data. So if I go to participants and just asking for the new, I'll add two names here, Sam, save a new, Ram. I have two datas now. I can check it too. If I click this participants, because the processing is too, I'm just quitting the creation of fields here, where we have two records created under the object called participants. This is what the way we can create the apps. So Salesforce, you can use the existing or built-in objects, and you can create your own objects. You can add the fields with your own objects, and you can create the records of yours. Once you launch, this is the one with all the backup facility. It will be launched successfully. Oddly, if you know the concepts, within 3-4 days, you can create the app. That's the reason many apps, even Olo and all the apps have been developed. This is the one which is suitable for both desktop and mobile. Suppose you are the developer and you develop a small application in Apex, a kind of case how to do it. For that, you have a developer console available. You can get into the developer console. It is also available along with this. So the setup, if you click it, you could have observed that this is a lightning experience of mine, in which also whatever the activity I've done recently in the classic view is listed. This is actually called a developer console. When you move to the developer console, it is asking you to create the Apex class. Apex is also case sensitive. And as I said already, like whatever the code you launched, a small Apex class I've created here, I'll just show it because creating a new class will hardly occupy or consumes the time of us. So system.debug. This is equivalent to system.out.println in Java. There is a class, Apex class I've created with the name of mine, and there is a static void display. The static method can only be accessed through the class name always. So how to run this class? This is a very simple class I've developed. You don't need to go for creation of main and all like your Java. Just a class name. Inside that there is a static method called display, which displays a message called Apex class. Now what I can do is I have to compile it. To compile it, if you click debug, open execute anonymous window. Now to run this code, what you have to do is, yes, the class name of yours dot display, and you please click this execute. If you execute it, you won't get an interesting output what you used to see in your front end. This is what the output you see it. What you have to do is you click this debug only. It just says the Apex class. This is what the way we get the output in Apex. Through the Apex, what we can do is we have the custom objects and built-in objects we have created in the Salesforce. To those objects also we can pass inputs through the Apex class. So this is about the programming environment for the developers who wants to work in Salesforce. And as a part, one small point is that suppose I want to learn more about Salesforce, a kind of case what I have to do. And this is trailhead.salesforce.com. Trailhead, Trailhead, trailhead.salesforce.com, which fulfills the need of the people, those who want to learn a lot. And this is a case actually, this is a one where you have learned credentials, and whatever the credentials I mentioned, it is available here. It can be either an administrator or you can be the platform developer where you have a login. This is a free login. Everyone can create it. This is different from Salesforce.com. Salesforce.com is an original app, original developing app where this is the one only the learning platform. And it is saying you that welcome to Trailblazer. As I have an already account, I'm just getting into. I have 3 accounts for the same because if you want to practice on the same part again and again, you can have more number of logins also. So when you go to it, so it takes you to the learning pathway where whatever is available from scratch, you can have a clear-cut picture because this is completely defined by Salesforce.com company. In fact, Salesforce is running in force.com in cloud. Yes, this is the Trailhead where these are all the badges I am. Even the super, we have badges and points here. If you complete some set of points you'll get your badges. So far I earned 17 badges. And if you complete some set of points, you are eligible to get some super badges. Once you complete a super badges, you are eligible to be a part of a company too. So what I do is, suppose I want to learn something about Apex. Please type Apex and press enter. If you type enter, it's just showing you Apex basics and databases, build Apex coding skills. If you want to improve that, you can go with that. And the quick start of Apex. I'll take this one. And the site where they have mentioned how many points allotted for this one. So quick start, if you click it, it takes you there. You can write so create an Apex class alone. It's about 5 minutes. So let me get into it. Create an Apex class. So when you move to the creation of Apex class, hardly you have to sit and read content. Apex is what kind of language, how to get into an Apex. Just now I talked about to get into an Apex, you have to click your developer console through setup and all those things I taught you. This is where the place you could have seen it. I'll zoom it for your visibility. This is a setup in which you have to select the developer console then file, menu, new, Apex class, and all these things you have to do it. Like that, they have given a very clear descriptions, and all these things you have to learn. Okay, all these things you have to learn, and they will give you some query for you. If you complete a query, you will be eligible for getting the 25 points. Here, the question for you is you create class. For that, they've given us tips. For this is only for the beginners, and the next level is also there. Launch this page and click setup menu, and they're asking you to create folder accountability, and then click OK. That's it. Only one thing they're asking you to create. I'll just copy it. I just want to earn this 25 points. How I'll earn it, I'll show you. So now you go to this my Trailhead. This is actually a sandbox you could have come across. Sandbox is a one programming environment they'll create for you in which you're going to run your contents. So if you click launch, it takes you to another screen, the Salesforce kind of environment. It takes you there. Whatever the requirement they said, you have to complete it. If you complete it, you'll get your 25 points. That's it. So it takes you to a playground. This is a sandbox which is created by the Trailhead. It's a testing environment. So you can run your test over there, where once you complete your sandbox content, again, it is showing this is not your original salesforce.com. This is a sandbox created by my Trailhead. So in which you have to click this, you have to click your setup. The steps they said very clearly in the Trailhead, what you have to do. You have to follow the steps. That's it. Initially, I said I have 3-4 logins only to make it how to learn. I created, because once you complete one challenge, you can't execute it again. So to make it more clear, I created multiple logins for the same. Again, it is a bit slow. So in this setup, you have a developer console. There they are asking you to go to. They have not even asked you to write any code. They are asking you to go to the corresponding creation of new Apex class. As I said already, even Apex and everything, you could have seen the message. It is waiting the response from the server. File, new, Apex class. And the name of the class I copied from there. So I'm going with the name here. Okay. If you click OK, automatically the public class holder accounts utility has been created. In the question challenge, they have not asked me to write any code, so I'm saving it. So for a beginner, how to create the Apex class? The step is setup, and you have to get into developer console. Once you come to the developer console, click the file new Apex class, and you have to type it. Okay, after saving this, you do one thing, like you just come to your original screen. Now you click, because I completed the task. Now click this launch. Once you click this launch, it just says you whether your task is correct or not. I'm sorry, you have to verify, because we already launched it. Another background which is created, you have to verify it. Yes, we have got a 25 points, and go to the next step, and you start the learning starts. So as a whole, what we have seen today is, like, I've just told you that what is Salesforce, how it helps you to develop your own apps, then how it differentiates from the existing apps. Then we started seeing how to create our small app in sales environment, that is through www.salesforce.com. And I told you that Salesforce has given a pathway for the developers also through the Apex or Visual Force. And I said how to create your Apex classes. And finally, I just told you that if you want to be very strong enough in Salesforce, better get into Trailhead.salesforce.com, which has given you multiple badges and points. And if you go through the content which is supplied by the Salesforce.com, you can be in a leading position in Salesforce. So thank you all. Hope it will be given at least 30% of the point what I plan to convey. Thank you so much.
Madam, thank you very much, madam. Hello.
Hello,
Madam.
Thanga Ramya.
Thank you,
Ma'am.
thank you.
Thank you, sir.
very much, madam.
Thank you so
Thank-
much, madam.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
You have explained about CRM, cloud infrastructure, Salesforce, why we need to go for Salesforce, statistics about Salesforce credentials. Then it was like a wonderful hands-on session, like using Trailhead, Salesforce portal tool. So it was a complete demo for a hands-on custom map creation and how we need to use this. So it was very useful for all the participants and us, madam. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All the participants, we thank you for your entire support for all these 6 days. The feedback link has been shared to that WhatsApp group R&D FDP. You can give your valuable feedback for this all the six days of FDP, and then definitely you will receive your e-certificate within a day. That is before tomorrow evening, definitely. Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you all.